We are back, so let's get into day one of my second week at Microsoft and what happened because we are finally done with onboarding and we are going in actually work. Uh, for the first part of the day, at first I set up some meetings so that I know on the coming week with who I am meeting and how to prep for everything. Then I jump into a meeting with one of my colleagues from my team to just understand better what he's working on, what are the project, the client, and of course for me very important to see if I can shadow him a bit in some of his project because I'm very curious to understand more about the cloud and Azure and how the database side of my role is working. So he accepted, so I will see how that shape. First, I will learn a bit about it, and he's going to send me some documentation on it, and then we'll do that as well. And then I jump into another call with my manager just to explain how I created kind of a solution for the problem he proposed for me to solve for my thesis. I explain a bit my visualization and why I wanted so fast to have the meeting about it was to set up the understanding of is this actually the problem? Did I got it right? Did I interpret it wrong? Because I think one of the biggest problem is the fact that we do not ask enough questions. So it was a full meeting on like me asking a lot and we were discussing different solutions and then I pitched the solution. It was pretty close to what he was thinking about, but then he put some boundaries based on like what we can do in a way or another. So that was like very productive. And then I jump into lunch with interns, which as always I absolutely love. It's just such a great way to sit together, talk, and literally what I enjoy is like it's not usually about work. We were like today, for example, we discussed Gen Z words and at one point I was like, oh wow, there is like so many different phrases and some of them like I heard them, I never used them, but I heard them and I was like, oh wow. And then I fully jump into working on my one pager for my project, putting up everything together. My manager also sent me a presentation about the scope and everything. So I was trying to map everything and put it together so that when I'm going and presenting to people, I actually have a one pager and it's like way more easier to sell into it. And then just read through some resources and researching people that maybe already did that or not. And then for the final part, I only mostly literally have coffee chat with all the interns in order to learn from them how was their experience and of course to see how I'm getting into and then of course current interns because it's always good to do some fun coffee chat with them and trying to understand what each of us learn and maybe help each other. For example, with Azure Access, some of us managed to somehow figure it, and then we were learning from them. And pretty much that shaped the first day. It was good to finally manage to set up a report and like a goal set up in a way or another. So I'm curious about next day and I'm actually very excited about this upcoming week because there is a lot of meetings, which means that I'm going to meet so many incredible people and I'm just so excited about learning from them because I know from my experience at previous companies that all the time when I'm doing these meetups with new people is the moment that I'm learning different things about different roles and it's like shaping me a lot and also helping me into my journey. So yeah, let's get into it. Day two of week two at Microsoft, and today was actually hands-on, actually building stuff and doing coding, which felt good because it's been a while from when I actually coded. Even like for my university, I did it in December, so it was good to get back into it. I think it was like a fun experiment. Like I just follow up a tutorial in order to understand if I could use that Azure foundation for my project or not. Turns out I can use it in a way or another, but maybe it's not the best solution. So I'm still experimenting and researching because my first weeks is all about that. Just talking with people, experimenting, and trying to see how can we solve the whole problem statement. So it was very cool. I also find out a lot about Azure and creating a storage and actually using the cloud solution that we have there. So it was really interesting. I also find out that apparently there is a lot of different way you can get Azure for free. Like for example, if you're a student, they give you a specific amount of money to use different function for 1 year, or if you sign up for first time, you have like 1 month, 200 yeah, 200 credits to just use and test out to see if this can be actually something for your solution. So that was like an interesting part. And then I also had a great talk with one of the initiatives from Microsoft, which is called Think Tank. And pretty much what they are doing is go interview people and trying to figure out what are the different problems that are inside Microsoft, and also what are maybe some probably solutions. They give you everything, they just don't have the time to actually build it, so they just create this database with problems and solution, and then when someone has time they can go there and try to solve something. So I talked with them just to try to see if they have more information for my project, because apparently what I'm doing, it was what one of the topic they were discussing with a lot of people. So I get there, get more insights that, to be honest, really help on like shaping a bit my solution. And pretty much, other than that, it was some coffee chats with other interns to just check in. So yeah, pretty much that was my Tuesday. And we're done also with day 3 of second week at Microsoft. And pretty much today was like a crazy day. We had so many different things happening, and also at the end something fun because we had an intern drinks just to have some fun and like do some talks. So pretty much the day started with the idea that I had a lot of different meetings, from which two of them were like to meet two of my team members, and one of them was like extremely amazing. The AI department is like the chief officer on AI, and I feel like it was amazing to meet him and like try to get a bit about like his journey, how he got there, and what he's doing in general. And like always, I love to meet this type of people because I feel like they're such an inspiration for me, and like make me want to be even more and like learn more and get more into different things. So it was a great conversation. Also, like we talked a bit about my project that I'm working right now to try to pick his head on like how he sees this whole problem, but also like a solution. And to be honest, he gave me a totally different perspective, which I was expecting because my manager told me that that's going to happen. So it was very interesting how he put the question and how he made me to rephrase everything and rethink the whole strategy, because in the end it's more there than I didn't saw. And I also met with my second colleague. She's more into the data side, so I had both perspectives today. And I was like talking a lot about like her journey, what clients she's working on, and also trying to pick her head on like, okay, what are the project and how is it to actually be a data engineer into Microsoft. And it was very interesting to see a different perspective, because like AI is on one side is very interesting, is a lot about deployment and talking about AI and consulting about it. But then data, you're actually going a lot into like data breaks, Azure Fabric, and like how do you build like the Power BI tables. And like there, I think it was like a lot of terminology, let's call it like that. So in the end, I at the end of the meeting, we agreed that I need to get into my certificate for the DP 900 in order to actually understand every fundamental part of like how Microsoft is like looking at the data, which I already started. Is a very interesting perspective. Is like open a totally new world of like so many different things. So it was great. And then also, of course, it came to me to do the question of like if I can shadow people, and actually go to clients meeting to understand the whole process. Of course, that means that I need to study a lot before doing that. So what I got from there was like a lot of resources that I should read and go through in order to be prepared for actually shadowing. Then the second part of the day was like a lot of meetings on for the interns. One of them was made by one of my great colleagues, Denisa, and we were like going a lot in like the culture and what's the future work at Microsoft. Is very interesting to see how the culture is in general. Like there was like a lot of like corporation assumption that we already know, but it was like very interesting to see how that maps with actually the mission of Microsoft and how everything is set up. And then we also go a bit into the future of work, how we think that we're going to shape, because in the end when we got a new CEO, the whole mission changed. So now we're seeing how we're going to change after pretty much we're calculating after COVID because that changed a lot. And also we talked about the idea of hybrid work. What does it mean to be in the office? What does it mean to be at a home and work? And pretty much Microsoft has this idea that we should have a lot of flexibility and we should choose what's the best for us to create more progress. That was a very interesting presentation. And then we also got into the second presentation, which was mostly trying to map how the whole annual office is split into teams. Basically, there are three main categories. Uh, One of them is my category, which is customer success, and then we also have Sud and IO2, I think, if I don't mistake. And it was very interesting to see from a big perspective how do you split in teams and how each team is like collaborating, who is doing what, like actually having a full understanding on what team at least you should go for if you want to have specific information. And it was like also presenting some of the project that the old cohort of interns was working on in order to like pick our minds and try to see if we should go in something like that or not. Then of course my second part of the day, which wasn't a lot of time because it was a lot of meetings going on, was about trying to shape more my project and see like some talking points, because like I had a lot of discussion about the project with other people, and I was trying to shape that into like actually solution points and like question to be answered in a way or another. So we'll see more on that, how that's shaped next day, because I'm going to also get some feedback from my manager on the whole discussion point. And yeah, pretty much I think that was day three. And at the end, we organized some drinks with the people from the office for my interns. It was just great to get outside the office,
I'm microdosing Microsoft.
be together, have some drinks, and like just enjoy some jokes and like talking point. Like in the end, it's like very good to get a lot of great relationships out of like an internship, because what everyone told me is that sometimes these friendships are the one that last forever, because in the end you're struggling together, so it's always like a bonding moment in a way or another. And day four was literally me staying at home on a Thursday because I didn't have any meetings. Mostly of my interns didn't go, so I decided to stay home as well. And actually, what I did was like writing my thesis proposal to just shape the idea and solution, and also be able to discuss it with my supervisor at my university. And then the rest of the day was like fully on me trying to learn everything I need for my data fundamental certificate, the DP 900. So it was a full day on me studying. It got me a bit throwbacks from university when you need to study for an exam. But it's good. I think it's like helping me a lot to understand how a man should work in order to build those stuff. So let's pretty much I don't have more to say about this day. It was just certificate and proposal. Day five also completed. We had an amazing long day full of meetings, but it was a lot of fun. In the morning I just had like a lot of different trainings on our competition, where do we stay there, at what we are good at, what we could improve, and also some of the security and AI based knowledge bases in a way or another. Then we had amazing lunch with the interns as always. And then I just jump into having coffee chat with a lot of people. Pretty much everyone was like on old intern, and I just was trying to get some advice from them on like how to be successful in the internship, and maybe if they have some tips. And also the main question that everyone is asking is how can you get a project in this company, and how to find it, where to search for it, like with who maybe is good to talk. So it was a lot about that. And also in between I was like trying to finish my certification for data fundamentals, and pretty much that was the whole day. And in the end it's just like a learning curve. I also managed to set up some more meetings for upcoming weeks. I talked with more people about my project on tech intensity, and yeah, pretty much that was it. And then I just end up the day with, I think, one of the sweetest I don't know, compliments that I ever received, which was that some people said that because of my personality and also my skills, I think they think that at one point I'm going to be the CEO of a big company, which for me, to be honest, is the biggest compliment I can receive, and it absolutely made my day. So thank you for that. And yeah, pretty much that was done week 2 of Microsoft, which was all about learning, doing certificate, and coffee chat. Let's see what's going to expect in the next week, and follow along for more videos. I'm posting every Sunday where I'm explaining what happened the week prior at Microsoft as a cloud solution architect, pretty much trying to share all the tips and all the things that I learned.